Hello. Hi. Thank you for joining me. I wanted to just kind of talk to you guys for a few minutes about a book study that I'm starting this week and just kind of tell you why I'm doing it and what I feel is important about it. The name of the book, as you can see, is Giving Candy to Strangers. And I'm teaching this book because it really had an impact on my life. And honestly, it wasn't that long ago that I read it. I was really struggling with a few things. I'm the type of person that when I go out in public, I'm not the person that's going to start a conversation normally. And so I'm learning to become more comfortable doing that. And a friend of mine recommended that I read this book. And I was like, okay, you know, anything's worth trying, right? Because that's how I feel like I want to improve myself. And so I'm willing to try things. I'm willing to do something. And being persistent on stuff and just keeping doing things that's going to develop me and help me move forward. So I started reading this book, and one of the things that really got me is it talks about the tips for creating abundance through heart-centered sales. And that's who I am. I reach out with my heart. I come from my heart. So much of what I do, and so it got my attention. And definitely, I want to bring abundance in my business. So I got to looking at the book, and there's 8 parts to it. They call them parts instead of chapters. And the first part that we're going to be talking about is creating connections without an agenda. And I'm sure if you guys are at all like me, you've had those situations where you've run across someone or you've met someone and you knew up front they were trying to sell you something. They were trying to give you the next big best thing, whatever. And so you're already kind of turned off by it, or you're not giving them your full attention. Or it's kind of like to me when I go into a store and I want to buy something, and if I have a salesperson come up to me and say, "Can I help you?" and I say, "No, it's okay. I'm just looking." If they walk away, that's good for me. If they're constantly hoovering over me, I'm not going to stay in that store for long because that's the energy is just not there for me. And so when they talked about creating connections without an agenda, that got my attention. And then they'll move you through some different activities and stuff that we're going to learn about in the book that you can do. And it's really interesting because sometimes simple things giving, you don't know what the candy is that you're going to be giving away, right? You don't know what that individual wants or needs until you have that conversation with them to find out. And so I like that part about creating connections without having an agenda. Your only agenda basically is to get to know them, right? These are friends that you don't know yet. I mean, how many of us have people in our lives that are best friends now, are our loves, are, people we go to, we call on, that we didn't know at first. We all do, right? I mean, that's part of life is you meet people, you develop relationships. And so it's talking about that, about making those connections. And then it's talking about nurturing your existing relationships. And how many times have we either taken for granted, or we get busy, or you just kind of disconnect from people without meaning to. And so it's talking about nurturing those relationships. Because there's a song that says new friends are like silver, old friends are like gold. I think it's how it goes. And you're always meeting new people, but you don't want to lose the people who are old friends, right? And grant there's that the saying that people come into your life for a season or a reason, and I get that. But then there's some people who, like my heart, him and his best friend have been friends since like the 4th grade. So there are people like that who are in your life, and that's important too, that you hold on to those relationships. And then it talks about overcoming common obstacles to connection. And if you're shy, if you're kind of feeling awkward about things or not knowing what to say, then there's some things that this can help you with. That's just really helpful. I know, like for me, it's interesting. My heart says I hold court. So when we go someplace, and especially if it's a group of people that we know and some that we don't know, I'll mingle with people I know, and then I have a tendency to find a place to sit, and that's where I stay. And people will come to me. So he calls it holding court. And it's not that I'm trying to be unsociable or anything like that. It's just that's my comfort zone, right? And we all know that we grow the most when we're outside of our comfort zone. So this book was is getting me out of my comfort zone, which is really a good thing. It's awkward sometimes, but it's a good thing. And then the other thing it talks about is in part four is understanding strangers. And how many times have we really looked at understanding that person we're meeting? Because like the saying says, people don't care what you say, they care about how you make them feel. And you can't make them feel good if you don't understand them. So it talks about skills for that. And then it moves you into using humor to create connections. And I'm not real good with humor um, because honestly, sometimes I just see some of the jokes out there is just being ridiculous. But there's a right way and a wrong way for humor, right? And I think for me, the biggest thing that I learned from it, because like for me, a lot of times what I saw as people being humor was what I felt as being what character assassination. It was cutting down someone. It was criticizing or, making them less than. And I don't see that as being humor. For me, that's hurtful. And the old saying, "I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you." Well, if the person's not laughing, you're not laughing with them. And that adage, "Sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you." That is so not true. Because words can do more harm, and the words that we tell ourselves can be. So this is really good about kind of giving you some different insights on that. And then there's a part that's called cold calling and other atrocities. I was all into reading that one because I am not at all fun about calling people I don't know, especially when it comes to business. And even when someone reaches out to me to ask me a question like about my fate and stuff, I kind of hesitate because it's like, okay, how am I going to approach this person? What are they going to think? What if they think this way? And it's like, just put that aside. Don't worry about that. Just come from the heart. And so it talks about that because I know, like, recently someone told me, well, the best time to get a hold of someone is on Sundays. And that makes me cringe because I'm old school. I'm sorry, but that's just how I was raised. You did not call somebody before 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and you definitely didn't call them after 9 p.m. at night. And for sure, you never called on a Sunday for business. You just didn't. And so, yeah, no, that may be the best time to get a hold of people in today's society. It's not something I'm going to do unless that person says to me, okay, I need you to call me on Sunday. But otherwise, because Sunday to me is family time. It's a time to rejuvenate. It's a time to self care. It's a time for reflection. It's a time, again, to be with those you love and just reconnect that way. On Sundays, for us, we unplug. And so we're not doing a bunch of TV. We don't watch a lot of TV anyways, but we're not doing TV. We're not doing on the cell phones. We're not on the computer. We're not doing a lot of that stuff. It's a time when we just totally unplug and we spend some really quality time together and out in nature. So Sunday to make a call to somebody for business is so out of character. So unless that person says to me, yes, call me on Sunday, it's the best time to reach me, I'm probably not going to. That's just me. So, but it covers a lot of that whole cold calling and other salesy things that we feel. And then the last one that I think is the next one they talk about is building relationships through social media. And so it gives you some tips about some do's and don'ts and what you can do. But the last part, the one that was really most impactful for me, is about leveraging your relationships. And for anyone who is in any kind of entrepreneur, solopreneur, small business, you know, when you've been in any kind of direct sales, anything like that, they'll talk to you about, well, reaching out to people that you know. And that was tough for me because I don't want to come to my friends for one more time about something what's the new greatest thing, right? And so it gives you a different perspective. It tells you about how, and the biggest takeaway for me is that I have something that can bless someone's life, whether it's my theta healing, whether it's global strong and my advisory roundtables, whether it's our wealth building pool, our financial fitness wealth building courses, whether it's this, whether it's the life app platform, whatever it is that I'm working on, each of those things can bless someone else's life. And so being able to give that gift and not see it as being sales is huge. So I'm looking forward to teaching this because I really believe that when you teach something, you learn even more. I'm looking forward to having you in the class and to have you guys share with me, because I know that you're going to have some great insights as well. And having you bring your insights into the class to share with us is going to be amazing. So thank you for registering. Thank you for joining me. And I look forward to having you in our class. And we're just going to have fun, right? So have a great day.